And there we go. The video got started now. And again, thanks for really joining in at a very short notice is what I would say. And again, sorry for Tanya not being replying you guys because she's on her week off. And
All right.
perfect. And yeah, if you could just introduce yourself. It doesn't has to be like more of me asking questions and then you answering it. It has to be completely like a discussion wherein we both know the traditional way of we are not expecting a traditional teacher, right? So we are wanting or looking for somebody who are like more having who understanding communicating with a person more on a human level, which should make more sense, right? So you can just, introduce yourself with your journey and everything.
Okay, well, my name's Ana Maria Gallo. As I said before, I was born here in Colombia. My grandparents came as missionaries ages
Right.
ago with my mom from Australia. So that's why she ended up here in Colombia of all countries. And
Right.
well, she met my father, fell in love. So I was born here in Colombia. They've been living here ever since.
Right.
Uh, Finished all my school here in Colombia. They have until grade 11. I finished here until grade 11, and I traveled overseas and went to Australia to get to know the country because I had never been, even though
Right.
I've always had my half Australian papers and passport and everything. I have never been, and so I went there to study grade 12
Right.
because in Australia they have the way to grade 12. So I did my grade 12 there, and I did part of my uni experience there as well. And then I came back to finish here in Colombia.
Right.
Uh, since given my English level, because I've always known how to speak fluent English, and here in Colombia, it's not that common. Actually, you get a
It
lot
isn't.
of
It
people
isn't.
here. It's not common. I've been working as a teacher ever since I was in grade 11. So when I was
Right.
in grade 11, there was a public school close to my school, and here you have to do like some social service hours, and
Right.
I did that for about a month, and I loved it with smaller kids. It was first grade, and because I had such a good impact like in the kids and everything. And here in Colombia, well, public education is not that great, so they do not
Same
have
here.
English.
Come on. Same here. I think it's
So
same and I don't know
every
if we are missing any kind of developed countries, but at least India is also in the same position. So
okay.
yeah.
So the headmaster of that time asked me like if I wanted to earn some money on the side,
Right.
because I could do it after I finished my schedule at school, and then I would go there. So I said, yeah, why not? I was in grade 11, no money, no job. So that was whatever income I could have was good. So I started doing that in that public school. Uh, and that's when I figured out that I really love teaching. I enjoy
Right.
it. Not something that I do because I just have to do it to live. No, I actually like it. So since then, I've been a teacher. I've had the opportunity to work with all types of ages, and from preschool. At the school I used to work, I even had an experience with 1 year olds, which is quite
Right.
challenging because they barely know Spanish. So trying to teach English is not the most easiest thing to do.
So just let me rehear it. So you said that the smallest kid you ever taught English is like 1 year old?
Yes, here in Colombia, they start studying when they're 1 year old. They can. It's called Kinder 2. That's
Wow.
first grade.
All right. So what's the normal age of that particular kid? Like 1 year exactly? Like, I mean, in one.
They have to be 1 year old to be able to be admitted into school.
Wow. Okay, please continue. I mean, I would come on to
Yeah, yeah,
that
yeah.
later,
So
but
it's interesting, but it's challenging. Being an English
super
teacher for one,
challenging.
not that easy. But I really enjoyed it. And then in that first year, after I came back from Australia, I had my studies. I was finishing also getting my diploma here in Colombia. I got a job at a school, at a private school,
Right.
as a preschool teacher, preschool and first grade teacher. And then one of the teachers in high school handed in their resignation during the year. So they left, and the headmaster told me, "Do you think you're able to also take grade 8?" And I was like, "Why not? Let's do it." I was very young. I'm still young, but I was very young at that age. So
Right.
I was like, "Why not? Let's do it." So I did that, and it was a challenging year because I had a lot of workload during the year, but I really enjoyed it. And even though I have enjoyed teaching all of the grades, even my 1 year olds, I I have more of a connection with older kids.
Obviously.
I'm a bit of an outgoing person, so I'm just, trying to talk to them. And I also think it's easier sometimes to get to teach them because
Exactly.
of the way of teaching. So after that, I was only a teacher for about 2 years. And after that, the
Mm-hmm.
headmaster of the school started talking about getting the international bachelorette program at her school.
All right.
So I started studying about what was that. I had no idea what it was. I started studying about what it was, and I just told her, if you want,
Right.
I'll try and help you get the international bachelor program. I had no experience. I've read about it. I think it's not that complicated to get. So I started doing that, and while I was trying to get that done, the pandemic struck. So that was interesting as well, because now we had no students, a school in crisis, because all of the schools went
Exactly.
into when the pandemic was there. So what we did, we still continued. That made us have to work a lot with teachers because
Right.
we gave ourselves 3 days of no school before going virtual with
All
teachers that had
right.
never been virtual before. So it
Yeah.
was 3 very intense days trying to do that, trying to still get the program, the international bachelorette program, rolling, because you have to pay an annual fee. So it's not something that you can say, I will just take another year because it's the pandemic. No,
Obviously
we
you
still
can't.
needed it during the pandemic. So we did that. We got the diploma program. They have several programs. So we got the diploma program that's in grades here in Colombia. It's in grade 10 and 11. In other countries,
Right.
that's 11. And I did that until my first senior class, IB class, graduated. And
Right.
after that, the headmaster offered me the academic general coordination of the school. Well, at the end of it, like now, I had been working there for about 8 years. So this is like my career path during 8 years. As an academic coordinator, well,
Mhm.
I had to experience a lot of things. I still do love teaching more than I do being a coordinator because it's a very different job. But I also
Right.
like being a coordinator because at the end of the day, you're also a teacher, but you're a teacher of teachers. So it's just
How
teaching.
is it to be a teacher of teachers? I mean,
Interesting, but a bit more complex. With kids, they see you and they say, like, you're the one that knows everything because you're the
right.
teacher. And it's all normal for them
Right.
to understand, what you're saying. With adults, we all think we know everything. So you
And
need to.
especially, how do you deal with somebody who has been a senior to you, like in terms of age, in terms of experience, and how do they take your feedbacks?
That was literally my life because right now I'm 30. When I was the IB teacher with the IB coordinator, I was
Right.
about like 25, maybe 24, 25.
Right.
Everyone was older than me.
Okay.
So I started being very honest with them when I started this. I said, this, I have no experience working in the diploma program.
Right.
But I want us to learn together, and I'm not here to force you to do anything. I'm here to work as a group and for us to
Right.
get the common goal that we have, and is to be able to be certified with the international bachelorate program at school. That's how it
Exactly.
started. What I think you always need to do is be very prepared and try to always have the correct answers. But when you don't know something, be able to say, something, I don't know. Let us check, because it's
Yeah.
impossible to know everything. Maybe someone of your team knows something that you don't. And that's what gave me I learned a lot through that experience, because being in a leading role sometimes makes you feel that you do know more than everyone else.
Right.
And it's just humbling yourself constantly to remind yourself that that's not true. And sometimes people younger than you, like it was in my day, know more
Right.
than you know. Now with everything that's in artificial intelligence, some of my younger
Right.
teachers were the first one to discover that students were using artificial intelligence, and that's when I got into reading on about what was going on and how can we handle it at school and how can we teach kids. But it was not me who figured it out; it was someone younger than me. So it usually happens, and I think you need to just have your mindset open to understand that, well,
Exactly.
you don't know everything, and that's how I've done it. I've had excellent relationships with all my teachers. It's hard sometimes. I am not a person that likes to say no, which is goes against the
I mean,
coordination
I think
job. Hard for me to do it, but I've understood that when you say it in a proper way and making everyone understand that it's not personal, it's just something that we need to do
to
to be
be in
able
the
to achieve,
turn.
they just take it pretty nicely. During my years as a coordinator, I was also teaching. I never stopped teaching at the school that
Right.
we worked at. All of the coordinators have a teaching role.
Some
So
or the
because
some part of your some time of your job.
yes, because I think it's so important, because the
It
only
is.
way
It
of
is.
being able to understand teachers with their difficulties and what they come to tell you is with you experiencing what they're
Right.
dealing with. When you're just in the coordination role, you completely forget about what's going on with the students. And that's something that I also considered, and I like it. It makes your work a little bit harder because you have double the workload than everyone else, but it is something that helps you
Like,
achieve like
nurture, like uplift yourself with skills.
definitely, definitely. So, well, basically, that's been my experience. I love that school that I worked for all of this amount of years. I'm actually leaving the school for personal reasons.
Okay, so
My
you're
husband,
leaving?
yeah, my husband also used to work there. Well, works there. And now he's not going to be my husband. He's going to be my ex-husband. So
All
it's
right.
something personal that has nothing to do this with the school. But what I did talk, because I have a very good relationship with the headmaster, what I
Right.
did talk with her is, I do not want to affect the school with something that has nothing to do with the school, because I really love the school and the kids and even my teachers. So I just decided that the best course of action was for me to just set apart and look for another work
Okay.
experience, try
Well,
something
I'm
else.
so sorry to hear that, and I kind of wasn't expecting that. I mean, I got so much into the passion of your towards your organization. Like, let me comment right from the very start. First of all, I mean, I have started my journey. I'll keep it short. That I have spoken to a lot of Colombian people. Okay, like hundreds of them. And trust me, you are one of the so far the best Colombian speaker I've came across with such a good English. I mean, like you are far much better than an American speaker that I've spoken so
Thank
far.
you so
Trust
much.
me. I mean, I'm not feeling like, unless you mention it that you're from Colombia, I'm not feeling like you are like a Colombian. Apart from
Thank you.
that, the level of articulating skills and the passion that you follow towards your profession is like outshining, with your expressions, with the way you were speaking, with the journey that you made me walk through. My goodness, I'm like a tremendous. I can really feel it. Like, you know what you were doing all these years. You really know what needed to be done, and you have got skills with people of all different ages. I think this what as a teacher we look for within ourselves as a like skill, and I think people management skill is far. Like not many people look into it. People these days are trying to get smart themselves with the tech things, which is again a needful thing to be done as a part of skills. But I think time to time, the topmost skill that every leader has to get themselves into is the people management skills. I mean, you don't have to be that smart enough, but you need to be smart enough to manage 10 smart people with you within your team. And I think that is how you grow as an organization, or like, whosoever you work for. That was the thing. And I think in professional life, you are absolutely a gem. And obviously, but seeing that because of the personal situations, your professional life is taking such a hit. I mean, your organization is losing an asset as a gem. And I understand your point, because you had such a good relation with your headmaster. Because I come from a situation myself. Well, before me considering myself an English teacher, I used to work in the corporate, and I also started working at the very young age, like when I was 17, and when I just passed, like finished my 12th. And while I was doing my graduation, like I graduated very late, honestly speaking, while my friends were just figuring out which college they want to get in themselves into, I started learning English, and then I got myself selected on a company that I was working for. So because I was very young in my organization, like 17, nobody was at that age working in that. I mean, over here, it will be considered as a child labor, because you are not supposed to be working before 18, and especially into the corporate
Exactly.
and everything. But I actually got started, and I was never an official employee. I was never taken as an official employee, but as an employee who just really wanted to work, who just had that passion, and also on the same time because of some financial reasons. And within the next 3 4 years, I have worked my way, on the promotional levels. And at some point I reached to a point where people of like yours age at that point of time, or like even elder to you, were holding those positions, and I was the youngest one to be there amongst them. And things has turned out in such a way where my boss was left out in a situation where either they have to choose me or him, because I was in such a good relation with my boss. But obviously I was young, and I did not understood the meaning of the position, or the kind of a leeway that I was given by my boss. And I kind of I would say I disrespected it, but I would have misused it, but I did not had the maturity to understand the level of opportunity that I was given with. And obviously that ended up bringing me into a situation where either my boss had to choose me or the organization. But before my boss would have made the decision, I had to take up a back step, and then I had to leave the organization, because I understood it, because that somewhere or the other I messed up with things little bit. And that was my learning point. I mean, I could have never imagined myself doing whatever I'm doing today in my life. I was seeing my life ending, or ending of my profession within that organization. I had such a good relation with my boss. So when you said this thing with your headmaster thing, I kind of, it took me to that phase of mine, and I was feeling it. I was like, realizing my things. So, anyways, I think it's life. I mean, when I actually went, I don't know if you have already left that organization of yours. When I left out, I actually cried and I left out. Not because I wanted the job. There was a point where my boss was like, Shiva, you just have to say that you want to stay here. I'll take care of things. But I understood, even if I decide to stay, it is the self-respect, because
Yes.
in the floor, everybody knows that Shiva is the closest one to the boss. And then they would just bear with me, or like, they would just kind of handle me because I'm the closest one of my boss. The respect of my personal respect, there will be no existence of that. So I took self-respected. I gave the priority to the self-respect more than my profession, and I left, even though I never wanted to. But sometimes we take the ones like you and me, we take our works with such a pride, with such a passion, that our work, there's our professional life becomes our personal life, or at least it was at that point of time for me. So my professional life was my personal life altogether. And I took it so personally that I actually had to cry over there, leaving, all the couple of members. I was managing a team at the age of 21. I was managing a group of team for the US clients, and that has been a sort of an achievement till date. There hasn't been anyone like that, neither there was anyone before that in my company. And that has, I mean, sometimes personal things comes into your profession, and then you have to make good decisions. But again, looking back, if I connect the dots, Anna, I think everything makes sense. Everything makes sense. I mean, I know you are much matured than me, and you understand life more than me. It's just that my point of learning is what I'm saying out of life. That if I connect the dots, everything makes sense. I think I'm more happier. I could have never imagined myself doing whatever I'm doing today. And it has only happened because at that point of time, nothing was making sense. Everything was like feeling very vulnerable and miserable for me. But today, I think, yeah, there were like bigger things meant to happen in my life, and that is why things happens. So just be optimistic towards life, and you see the doors will open for you.
Definitely.
So that has been the case. I think I'm very much astonished with your skills, with your journey altogether. Coming into the couple of skill set wise, I mean, I have in terms of people management skills, you are acing it. So when it comes to again, you know that today's kids, they're like super active with the trends, with the techs, with the knowledge and everything. So we cannot outsmart them even if how long, even doesn't really matter how much we try to. They are like, so how do we make sure that I mean, do you involve yourself on your day-to-day life with these AI tools, or like do you keep yourself updated with all these tech related things? I'm not asking you to be like too tech savvy on it, but at least you have your daily involvement of like, let's say, chat GPT, So I am always into chat GPT, but at least what I expect is that a normal people these days should take chat GPT as their virtual friend, or speaking some or the other things.
Definitely, Shiva. Actually, at school, what we decided to do when we figured out that AI was here and it was here to stay, what we did was start giving workshops to our teachers because it was
Right.
a very hard impact on teachers trying to understand. As always, we always think that we know everything, and something that I've always told my teachers, something. If our kids want to know just the theory of things, they have the internet. They do not need us. We need
Exactly.
to have something more important in us to be able to help them and give them something meaningful. And in that
Right.
case, well, we need to be up to date with everything. I have used and I like using lots of AI tools, not only ChatGPT, which is actually one of my best friends.
Nice.
It's something that just has become part of my day to day because it's
Same here.
it really helps you reduce some type of workload in which you don't really need to use that much time. And if you have the
Yeah.
AI tool, just use it and but we also did it with students. So what we started doing, they do research works here to be able to
Right.
graduate, like they do in uni, but they do it here in grade 11. And we actually developed a course in which we teach them how to use
Right.
AI properly. For example, looking or searching for the research question. It's such a
Right.
difficult to do. They use AI in those types of cases. They can help you. So that was what I was doing this year. I really tried helping students understand that AI is great, but you
Right.
just need to be able to understand in what cases it is possible to use it and in what cases you really do need to develop the skills for yourself. Because if you're
Right.
going to write everything with AI, you're never going to learn how to write. And so there's certain things that I was trying to work with them that I think we are in the path of approaching. It's easier with kids than with adults. Adults have a very big restriction against AI. We even taught teachers to plan their classes with AI.
Right.
Asking for ideas, what trends are in today's day, what activity you can do with a specific thematic that you want to teach. But they really struggled. Some of them, the younger ones, got it super easy. The older ones, because I also work, I had like what, three teachers that are about 50, 55, like my older teachers were there.
Right.
Oh my goodness, they struggle a lot. It's like they feel that if they use AI, they're cheating on themselves. I'm not sure how to put it in words, but that's what.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
trying to
It feels
understand that
like.
it's that's going to help, that a teachers always have a big workload because they have to give lots of feedback and we have to plan. And if
Right.
you're really into it, you're going to spend more time than the usual time at work, like working at home as well. Well, you use this tool that's going to make your life easier. um, but yeah, we've liked a lot with presentations as well, even with organization as a coordinator, trying to use tools to be able to organize,
Things.
your specifics, your urgents, because in my mind,
Right.
everything's urgent. So being able to someone else tell me, this is not that urgent. Don't worry. This is urgent. This is important, but not
Right.
urgent. Also helps me aware as well. But yes, I'm not the most experience. I know there's a lot of AI tools that I do not know, but what I've um, researched. I've tried to use it at school, and it's all based in education processes. Actually,
Educational.
I know there are more AI apps and stuff outside of education. I have no idea how to
I
use
mean,
those
neither
ones.
me. I think,
That I've learned and tried. I've tried to focus it in my job.
I mean, at least you have accepted it as a part of your profession, as a part of your life. And just in case if you are meant to learn something, you are open enough to learn something is what we expect, right? And being said that, I mean, I'm not gonna take much of your time because you are kind of a person. I don't know how often, I'm sure people love speaking to you because you are a person with a good aura and lots of knowledge and a good orating skills is what I can see. And but I have got all my answers, like my questions answered. I'll just stop the recording for here now.